Okay, I was asked to demonstrate how we 3D model parts using Design Spark Mechanical. You can see the names right at the top. Basically, when you open the file, you're going to come to this page and I'll go to File, go to New, Design, and then it gives you this grid pattern, which is an angle, which I find totally useless. So I hit on Plan View, which gives me this. In this case, let's go ahead and model one of the arms on this TV robot that we've been talking about. You're going to need something to measure with. I use a micrometer. Maybe if I turn the room light on, that would help see the part better. So let's just go ahead and start with a diameter reading here. So it's about 24.5. So I'm going to go up here into this tools section, grab the circle. Doesn't matter where you start. I'm going to go there and say 24.5. This is millimeters in this particular case. And the next thing I'm going to want to know is the center distance from this to this circle, roughly. Since I'm just trying to make an approximation. About 24 millimeters. So let's grab the line tool and just tell it to go 24. I'm hitting enter to enter that stuff. Now I'm going back to the circle tool. So you start by doing a flat line drawing. And the diameter of this elbow joint is 19.5, roughly. So I'll go to the end of that line we just made and go 19.5, like so. Then the next main detail on this thing is going to be the claw. So let's figure the center on that. It's about 25, and you could get precise on this angle here because you could take that and do a measurement there and intercept the two and get them to hit and blah blah blah. I think I'll just guess at it because I don't particularly care if the cosmetic angle is exactly right. So I'm going up to the top up here and selecting the line tool again. And I'm just going to draw it off down. Let's see what it looks like. Like that. Let's just go about there. 25. Okay. And let's go back to the circle tool. And what diameter is the claw going to be? It's about 19.5, about the same as the elbow was. 19.5, like so. So now we have our basic shapes. Let's see how wide the arm was between the two circles. It's about 17.4, 17.5. Half of 17 would be 8.5. So let's go 8.75. What we're trying to find here is I'm coming off that line, and I'm going to take half of that, which was 8.75. That gives me a distance there. And I'm going to do the same thing off over this way. 8 point, oops, that wasn't a point, 0.75, like that. So now I know how wide that arm is going to be. I should be able to go straight up and intersect the circle. Take that and come straight down and intersect that one. Good. Take this one, straight up 90, and straight down like that. Now you can do some cleanup. You can take this tool right over here in the middle of these last three. You can see it's trim away. So I can get rid of these measurement lines. We no longer need those. So now we're starting to get, I got a duplicate line here I can get rid of. Boom, there we go. And let's do the same thing going down to the claw. So how wide was that going down to the claw? It's about 15.5. So 15 be 7.5, so 7.75. I'm grabbing the line tool again, and I'm just going to take this and go at a 90-degree angle off there. 7.75, and I'm going to go from this center and do the same thing in this direction. 7.75, and then I need a 90 degree up to there, and let's take a 90 degree down to here. Go here. See, you just start with a flat drawing, and if you're trying to imitate something, you spend more time getting it right. If you're creating something new of your own design, you don't have to spend so much time getting it right. You're not comparing it to anything else. So I can clean up all of this like that. So now we have the basic arm design. We could add this claw cutaway. So let's see what that is. In micrometer says it's 7.8. Let's just call that 8. From the center. So if we do that, then eight, so we'll go 4. Let's go 4. Look at that, and then come straight out at 90, like that. Straight out 90, so you can get your degrees that you're going there. There we go. Then let's take the remove tool and open that up. Boom, just like that. So we could do more now. We could add some of the details, but before we do that, let's just go ahead and extrude some of this. So I clicked out of where we were there. I hit mode and I hit select, and now we're down in this area. Apparently I have a line not touching. I think it's right there, or this would have been gray. We'll fix that in a minute. Well, what the hell, let's fix it right now. I'm going to use this back button. Clear up in the top, there's a back button. Yeah, see, there's where I screwed up. I didn't connect. You got to make sure everything is watertight and connected. Okay. There we go. Anyway, let's go back where we were. I've just clicked on this upper shoulder circle. I'm going to take this spin tool and I'm going to rotate it just a little. Then I'm going to turn the spin tool off and come over here to pull. And now we can extrude that. And the question is how much do we need to extrude that? And it looks like it's 10 millimeters. So let's go ahead, and there's arrows pointing. Got this here. I'm just dragging my mouse this way. Went up to 13. I don't care what it goes to because I'm going to type in 10 and hit enter. Boom. You got 10. And the arm connection is definitely less. In between the arm parts, 8.5. So again, I'll just click on this area right here. Let me close in maybe so you can see better. Click on that. I'm going to go up to pull. I'm going to say pull 8.5. So now what's at a lower elevation? I'm assuming we're going to add some detail to the arm. So actually, I can pull that elbow at 8.5 also, and they'll both join together. Like that. And do the same thing down here. 8.5. Let's stop there for a moment. I'm going to select this whole thing. I'm going to come over and hit this box to get everything flat. Coming back up to circle. Grabbing this, it'll center itself. I'm going to bring this out because we have this ring in the elbow, as you can see, and it's going to be less than the 19.5 that we initially had. Let's just see what 18 looks like. That looks good. And we want another one, so let's go 16 maybe. See what that looks like. That looks good. That's going to add some detail to this part. We're going to extrude that out. So let's bring this up. I'm going to highlight just that part. I'm taking the spin, rotating it enough so I can pull, going over to pull. And now let's pull that out, let's say 1.5 millimeters. We just want to add some relief. That's actually too much. Let's say 1 millimeter. And now to give it a more rounded look, you click on the edge of it instead of on the flat. See, if you got on the flat, the whole thing turns yellow. Get on the edge, and I can actually get on the inside edge also at the same time. Now when we click on the pull tool, it shows I can push in, and if I push in, I can round everything over. In this case, I'm going to go 0.5. Boom, like that. And now we have a nice rounded view there. Now we should do a similar thing up here on the top. I clicked on that surface to select it. I'm coming down here to move that whole thing square so I can look at it straight on. Let's make this bigger. And we're going to add a ring to that as well. We'll start just by, the outside ring was 24.5. Let's go something like, gee, I don't know, 21. It's a little too hefty. What's 22 look like? 22 looks pretty good. Let's take that, and when we did the depth, I think we went full bore already. So I'm going to select, ooh, I'm not centered, am I? Let's go back. I wasn't watching what I was doing. I don't know how I got off center. Am I centered? Yes, okay. So let's go back, 22. That's better. Take that. I'm going to take this inside part. You know what? I want to dome that. So I had that inside one. We're back on the sketch one. I'm going to select the circle again. I'm going to do another circle just inside that. What did I say? That one's 22. So let's go 21.5. I need just a ridge there. Then I can select the center. Let's go ahead and rotate this a little. And let's just grab, I'm clicking out here anywhere to unselect. I didn't get the spin off. I'm clicking spin off, clicking out here just to unselect. Let's grab this inside edge. In fact, let's have more fun with it. Let's grab this whole little piece in between that we just made. Let's pull that in, oh, I don't know, at least one. If we don't like the way it looks at one, we'll add more later. So what we've done now, we've pulled a ridge in there. Let's select this edge. What I'm trying to do is round this, because this thick part here is domed. I've grabbed that. There's a little arrow pointing in. I've got a little arrow here. I'm in the pull mode. I'm going to push in, and it's going to keep pushing in, you know, until it looks kind of rounded. Couldn't have went as far as I wanted. So now you can see we've got a domed round part in there. We've got these outer ones which still have a very coarse edge to them. So let's grab that outer edge, and by holding the control key down, I can select this inner edge, and then let's round those by pushing it in. Something like that. So now we've got a rounded edge. We've got the domed edge. We've got this edge. So that means we could come down to our claw. Now it looks like the claw sticks out. It's a little bit thicker than the arm part was, so we'll call that 10. So let's go ahead and select pull. We've already selected it. Let's pull that out. 10. Boom, like that. That's looking pretty good. I'm hitting spin so I can take you guys around the part. So right now it's a solid part. If we didn't want it solid, if we wanted a hollow part without, I would redraw this outside line in here, but I would make it whatever wall thickness then I wanted. Let's say I wanted it 1.5 millimeters thick, then I'd go in with a circle that's less and straight arms, and then I could go back and pull that in and make it hollow. this case, I'm going to go ahead and leave it solid. Since this is going to be an FDM 3D print, I can just set the infill at any level I want. If I was going to make this part on a resin printer, I would want to go ahead and make it hollow, since resin printers make their parts solid. But I need a way to connect this. So let's put a 10mm hole in this so I can hook some sort of axle to this arm to hold it onto the robot. And let's just go ahead and pull that in arbitrarily, let's say 5mm, about half the distance of the arm. And I'm hitting the spin button so I can spin it for you. So now you can see I've got a place where I can run and glue a pin into this whole arm part. And if I wanted to add the more details that are supposed to be present on these parts, there are a couple little circles and then the one circle in the claw. Let's select this part here. You could measure and you could get exactly where you wanted to add those other two circles. Or if you just want to be artistic, you can guess at something like I'm going to do right now. Let's just say 4.5. And then your other one, 4.5. So I've drawn those two circles in. I've gone back to select in mode. I can now select those two circles. In this case, they protrude outward on the arm. So I'm going to rotate the arm a little, make it easier to see when you extrude. Going up to pull. They're both selected. I'm going to tell it to bring them both out 1mm. Maybe I'd like more. Let's go ahead and leave it at 1mm now. Now if you wanted a rounded edge on those, you can come up and just hit the edge of them. See how the edge is now highlighted? Then if you go back up to pull, and now you can see there's an arrow pointing in, so I'm going to push on my left mouse button as I go in. I can select how much I want to go in. Let's say 0.5mm. Boom, like that. That's more than I would want, but in this case I don't care. And let's click on the arm. I'm going to click on this box over here to get the whole thing square on like that, because there's this circle in the claw down here. So we can take that. You'd find the center. Of course, you could measure, exactly find the center. And the circle is kind of big. I'd say it's about there. Can take that. I clicked on select. I clicked on mode. I'm clicking on that. I'm hitting spin. So now I'm pulling on pull. In this case, that hole goes inward. So I can go in, let's say 1. I think I'd actually probably would go more like 1.5. So now we have all of that detail on there. And the robot in this case actually has two little divots down here. So I could select the surface, add the two divots, extrude those on. You get the idea. When you're all done with your drawing and you're happy with the way everything looks, you would go up to File. You would hit Save As. And just like in any other program, you would look for where it is you want to save it. You would type in the name you'd want to save it. And the first file type it's going to save it as is a DS, mechanical files. And just hit Save. Then you can do up and do a save again. Or you can just go over here under the exports and go down to STL and save the file as an STL also. So once you have it saved as an STL, I'm going to close out of here. You would go into your slicer. In this case I'm using the Prusa slicer because it'll work with any printer and it's just about the best slicer out there. And in Prusa you can come up here to this box, click on that. You can find what you're looking for. You got an arm. There's an arm, it's laying there. As you can see, in this case, because I'm not particularly worried about layer lines and stuff, I normally just print at the 0.2 speed setting in their slicer. It's quick, 20% infill, it's going to be a lightweight part. You would hit Slice Now, boom, just like that. Now it's sliced, then you would click on this, Export, save the exported file, and you're ready to run it to your printer, assuming that you had your slicer set up to match your printer. In this case, I have the slicer set up for my Prusa MK3 printer, so it would be ready to go. Gives you the specs over here. It's going to take 34 minutes to print. And that's pretty much it. In case you guys were wondering how the parts were made, I thought I'd do a quick video showing you that.